elevation going on behind you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I like the design.
How you doing? Thank you.
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm tired as hell.
Why?
Well, I've gotten into the habit of listening to audio from my course. Like I go down to bed and
Mm-hmm.
put my phone on and start listening to things. So I went to bed at 11 and listened till about 12:30,
Yep.
and then I didn't go to sleep till after 4 o'clock.
Oh, no.
My brain was just going crazy.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's terrible and it's a good and exciting at the same time. Just because this course I'm on, like, it's about coaching and whatnot, but it's based on his clarity program, which is all about
Hold
basically.
on, you're recording this, right?
I am recording, correct. I have captions on. I tested the microphone earlier.
You're picking up the right screen.
I got the right screen going. We're good. Um, yeah, and I just find that, like, the last 3 or 4 days, like, my mind is so much clearer than it has been, and it's almost like I said in our group chat on Facebook for our course that it's like somebody took my creativity dial and, like, cranked it all the way up to maximum,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, ideas are just like flying left, right, and center out of my brain. It's overwhelming.
So what? Tell me about that. Like, what was that dial cranked up to?
Like, what do you mean, like,
Well, I mean, what sort of ideas? Like, what
ideas?
did you
Well,
do?
like, I've
How did
so
the course do that?
yeah. Well, so the course is based on this guy Sydney Banks' three principles, which is mind, consciousness, and thought. And the premise is that there's only thought in the moment. That's all that's real. Anything else that you think you're feeling or thinking is just thought distortion.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all about living in the moment, and it's like, it's one of these things, like, if you want to be more creative, think less. Like,
I've heard that before.
let your energy and your being just create. Like, you don't have you the more you, like, he talks about insights and realization. Everyone has an innate capacity for insights and realizations, and if you talk to people, when do they get their best ideas, when do they have their insights, it's usually when they're not expecting it, when they're in the shower, or they're out on a walk, or they're just staring off into the sunset, when they're at peace, they're relaxed, and they're not thinking. Like, you can't
Yeah.
sit there and think, like, shit, I need to come up with, like, an amazing idea, and you sit there and grind away on it. Not going to happen. That's not when you get your insights and your realizations. Anyway, so I've just been kind of reflecting on that, and I think it's almost like meditative when you listen to this guy's materials too, right? Like, it gets you into that hypnotic kind of trance-like relaxation where you start thinking about stuff. So, I mean, like, I've had the idea. So I'll backtrack to, like, I think it was Friday. I got my email from Miguel Hernandez that I got selected to be one of his beta testers for his app. So I spent a few hours Friday night working on that and putting together things. And then, anyway, then I had the idea. I said, you know what, like, the premise of his app, he originally built it based off Tim Ferriss's book Tribe of Mentors. I think I was explaining this to you
Mm-hmm. And you get
previously.
shut down by Tim Ferriss.
Yeah, he got shut down. But basically, the premise of the app is it takes content, which in this case was a book, and it just delivers the content back to the user in a much more practical and usable way, in bite-sized chunks that you can mark as favorites, you can organize them certain ways, whatever, so that, when you can go back to it and refer to it. It basically takes a book like that and it becomes a living kind of resource for you in your palm of your hand. So I was taking that premise, and I thought, like, one of the challenges I do have with the content in my course, I think I was telling you this too, is that, like, his content is massive. It's like, here's a 4-hour video. And it's like, how do I consume a 4-hour video? Like it's, you know,
Yeah, and you and I have the luxury of sitting at home.
yeah, it's impossible. So if I was on the commuting or at work or I don't know, trying to find the spare time to consume this, it's very difficult. So my idea was to connect the two things, which is like, you know what, Jamie's content is like, it's amazing, but it would be beautiful inside this app. And if you broke it down, like you could have affirmations, quotes, coaching session recaps, insight recaps. I don't know, like you could come up with a whole bunch of ways to classify different chunks of it and slice and dice it and serve it up in the app. So that was my first idea on Friday. And then I was saying, like, this guy already has a community. Like, this could be, it could be a bonus that he sells when you buy his course. So you also get the app for, say, 3 months for free or 6 months. And then it becomes a membership. So would people that bought his course pay $5 a month to have this app? And it's got ongoing content updates and I don't know, all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, I actually sent Miguel in my feedback on his app. I sent him, I said, here's my feedback on your app. By the way, I know somebody who's a content machine besides myself. And his content would be beautiful in your app. Would you entertain having a conversation about, like, you know, I'll slice and dice he provides the content, I slice and dice it, you do the app part, and we each take a share of the membership fees. Anyway, so he replied back Saturday morning, I guess, is when I saw it, saying, like, thanking me for my feedback and all this stuff. And I also sent him a link to my website because I have a page on my website that's like my personal profile. And I said, if you want to, you know, I know you don't know who the hell I am, so if you want to know about me, here's a link to my site. So anyway, he replied and thanked me for all my feedback and explained a few things that I was doing. And then he mentioned, he said, I'm not really thinking about content right now. I'm still trying to get the app functionality where I want it to be. So he kind of he didn't say no, but he just kind of punted that, which was fair. And then he said he checked out my website and he loved it. And I don't know, he gave me a lot of compliments on my website. So that felt great too. That so there's one, like, you know, here's a guy who, like, I don't know if he's as big a deal as I'm making him out to be in my head, but I look at him as being a fairly successful YouTube personality. And here I am, like, you know, now I'm interacting with him on a kind of a friendly basis. So that's pretty cool. Then I started other ideas of the weekend. It's like, it's like everything I touch in my office, like every book or every whatever. I'm like, fuck, this is content. This could go in the app. So there's a, you know, I emailed, there's a company that Jamie used to own, which is his original NLP company, called Salad. It's now called Salad Seminars. I don't even know if they're still in business because all their Twitter and LinkedIn, everything's like, there hasn't been an update in a long time. So I reached out to them because one of the things I bought from Jamie back when he ran that business was these decks of playing cards that had NLP language patterns on them. So every card is a different thing. So the pattern I'm looking at right now in front of me is, by the time you started blank Eol, and it says, by the time you started to, when exactly is that? I don't know, but by the time you started to discover that, the suggestion's already gone in. So by the time you started to notice just how far you've come, you'll already be excited about the changes you've made. So it's all these language patterns. But again, these decks of cards lend themselves to being classified and grouped and whatever inside an app like this, where you can access them. So, you know, you're having a dilemma with an employee. What patterns are relevant to this? And you could call them up quickly, or your favorite ones, or whatever. Like, again, it's just, this app is, like, in my mind, revolutionizing how you can serve up content. Then there's another guy that because I've started, I don't know, rediscovering some of my books that I used to read about leadership and stuff. So when I was at Loblaws, this is probably 2006 or 7, we had this guy, Michael Abrashoff, who was a former Navy captain. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy. So his book is called It's Your Ship. So this guy was the captain of the USS Benfold, which was arguably the worst ship in the U.S. Navy at the time of the Gulf War. So by every measure that the Navy has, they were in the bottom. Maybe not the total bottom, but pretty close to the bottom. He took over commanding the ship, and by the time he left, they were the number one ship in the Navy. And the only personnel change that happened in that time was him. So he's basically built a leadership practice out of how he used leadership to change the course of that Navy ship. So anyway, I was like rediscovering that, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to check this guy out on LinkedIn, and I see him on there. And then I noticed he has a course on Udemy. He's got a $199 leadership course, and it says he's got like 5 students. So it's like, clearly he's not the only one struggling to sell his stuff. But anyway, so I reached out to him on LinkedIn, sent him a contact request, and I said, hey, I saw you present when I worked at Loblaws years ago. It was a very powerful presentation. Would love to connect with you. Anyway, within like 5 hours or so, he responded and said, oh, thanks for the kind words. I remember Loblaws well. Hopefully we'll get back to normal soon, whatever. So now I'm connected with him. And here's another guy who was like, even though I saw him on person, I still kind of think of him as like, you know, he's out of my league. Like he's a real, I don't know, success story, for lack of a better word. So, you know, kind of pseudo celebrity. So now I've connected with Miguel, I've connected with him, and I've connected with Jamie. So I got to figure out how to pitch Jamie on my whole concept too. Which is in some, I don't want to call it an angle, but I suppose it is. But like he was talking to us on, I was listening to his video. I guess was it a video? I can't even remember. I can't distinguish anymore between what I've heard him say on a video versus like actually on a live call, because it's all the same. But he was talking about when you do proposals for clients, and quite often, especially in the business world, that people will say, well, email me your proposal and then you can come in and do your presentation. And he says, it's not that he will never do that, but his position generally is no. I want to come in and do my presentation and then I'll send you the proposal. And the reason he does that is because if I send you the presentation first, then when you listen to my presentation, you will be listening to it through the lens of the proposal. Versus if I come in and do the presentation, then you're looking at the proposal through the lens of my presentation, and it's a completely different experience. And he said, like, sometimes you'll come up and people say, well, look, just our procurement process is this way. We have to submit this paperwork or you won't even get a meeting. And then that's fine. But if you can, he said, more often than not, people will let you do it the way you want to do it, and it's to your advantage. So anyway, so I'm going to reach out to him with a little tidbit of what I'm thinking of and ask to have a call with him. And if he says, well, just send me something, then I'm going to use his own tactic against him.
That's true. That's smart, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, this is Greg Fisher Monday.
Yeah. Well, and then the last night I was working on my leadership course, so I got my design for all my variations.
Where did you get that design?
For the most part, it's a PowerPoint recommended design. Like when you start building your deck, PowerPoint will say, here's some design ideas. Mm-hmm. And like the gray and green and white one was one of their concepts. So I liked it. So I just thought this would be good. I can take the look of it and I can just change do a color coding for each different variation of the course. And
that looks very nice. I'll be honest with you. I like the design. I don't know what it is about it that I like, but I like the.
I can't put my finger on it either, but it has like an aesthetically pleasing quality to it. Like it's simple, but it's, I don't know.
And repetitive and color coded. It's easy to see, and there's, I don't know. Yeah, kudos.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. So then as I was building, so I built the first module for the leadership for retail managers. So it has the green color is in the video. So all I have to do now to change it, there's a couple parts of the script that I have to change for each of these versions, and then change the color palette, and bam, I've got another course, like, a separate course.
That's smart.
So I'm looking. I'm looking for today to send that first module over to my friend to review, and then I'm going to give some more parameters, and then I'm also going to package up. So here's the, and it's kind of like your do it yourself, do it with you, do it for you kind of thing, right? So here's the course. If you want to just buy the online course, this much. If you want to supplement the course with group coaching sessions, so throughout the course, at the end of each section, I can have a group Zoom call, and then we can unpack everything from that section. That's going to cost this amount.
Yep.
Then you could also do individualized one-on-one coaching, and that costs this amount. So it's going to be like, I don't know what she'll go for, but
it's always good to have options, just not too many options.
Yeah. Well, and I think the coaching, the one-on-one coaching, it may not be for everybody. Maybe it's for specific people who
that makes sense. Need
more or less coaching, or if you want to start with the group coaching. I mean, this is the, it's the proof is in the pudding kind of story, right? You have to, as Jamie would say, you have to establish trusted advisor status. So if you can get them, and it's funny because I feel really good about the content. So you've been through my Leadership for Teens course. So this first section is about the two paradigms. Two people can have different opinions and both be right, and emotional bank account.
Yep.
And the exercise on emotional bank account, it's basically like, here, fill out what's your emotional bank account balance with your boss, your full-time staff, your part-time staff, your suppliers, your customers, whatever. But like, it's a very easy, simple lesson. But if no one's ever thought about their relationships this way, it can be a very powerful paradigm shift for people, because they go, oh yeah, like no wonder so-and-so appears to hate my guts because I treat them like shit.
I would, as a thought, as a kind of reflection to what you were saying, is there might be an opportunity for her to go back to your friend and say, like, look, these are the three options. I would recommend for you, I can price the second option the same way as I priced the first one. Let's say the do-it-yourself is $97 or $147. The coaching is like $297 a person. Yeah. And the personalized is, I don't know, $997.
Yeah.
Or something like that, like $1,400.
Yeah.
You want to. So where I'm going with this is, if you kind of make an appearance of added value for choosing the second option over the first one, you both win.
Yeah.
You make somewhat slightly, so you discount it, but you make slightly more money.
Yeah.
And you also get the in-person experience and thus feedback.
Yeah.
On-the-spot feedback. Because if it's a she, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If she opts in for the do-it-yourself, then everyone goes to the course, and sure, you might get testimonials, you might get feedback, but you will not have the interaction, and you will not see where people stumble.
Yeah.
This is one of the things I'm beginning to realize is why coaching session next week are going to be so valuable.
Yeah.
Is because you get people's perspectives.
Yeah.
That sometimes it just blow you away. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing that comes through just regular communication.
Yeah.
Uncanny.
Yeah. Well, here's a reminder for you, because I believe you were with me when this happened. So we were at Loblaw, and this was pre-Top Shelf launch, and we were in that little office space near Peter Lewis's office or whatever, and we had two people, I think, or maybe it was just the one lady who was a super user. And we went in because we said we want to see how you use the software. So we go in, and she's demonstrating for what she does, and she's selecting her weeks. and she's clicking individual weeks. Like if she wanted 10 weeks, you go click, 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 and you go, I don't know if it was me or you, probably you said, you can just click and drag across the weeks. And she was just like, fuck off. And it's like something that, you don't even give it a second thought when you know what you're doing. Like, of course you can do that. But no one had ever showed her, nor had she ever stumbled across it. And it was a total game changer for her. And it's something so simple. I'll give you another example. We went to US Foods to do a training. So I went, we'd hired a new training manager, Anna. And as her boss, I thought, well, it's incumbent upon me. I need to go and actually like witness her do a training. Like, how can I evaluate her performance if I never have seen her actually train? So Jason Go and I went down there, and she had maybe 20 people in the room. And I would classify the audience as, an older crowd with even older laptops and like zero technical capability.
Okay.
And half of them were having trouble logging in. And you can explain to them, like, I don't remember the particulars. Don't use Citrix, use Citrix. I don't know, whatever it was. You might as well be talking Russian to them. Like, they don't know what those words are that you're saying, what they mean. And often what it was when they were, I think it was, they weren't supposed to go through their VPN. But the problem was most of them, the link that they had saved as a bookmark was their link through their VPN. So even though they weren't in VPN at the time, they kept trying to click this link that was routing through that, but it wasn't on. So it was, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, but they don't know what any of that means. So they're just like, I'm supposed to just click this button and at home it works, or at work it works, but here it's not working. And like, if you weren't there to actually see, there's like, I mean, and this, it was funny because coming out of that is when in support we implemented the process of getting people's permission to jump on a WebEx with you and share their screen and give you control so you could actually see what they were doing and help them fix because when you try to describe through like a phone conversation what's going on, again, like you're not speaking the same language as the other person. Anyway, it's the feedback loop is I definitely feel you on the I should price this, particularly being my first one, and the fact that she's my friend and helping me out. I should probably be nice about it too.
Oh,
but
no, sorry, no, I didn't mean discounted from a standpoint. You need to make the money you need to make.
No, I know.
Remember, you'll get into this.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be working on this.
Yeah.
You hate to be thinking in the back of your mind, damn it.
Yeah.
This is $5
but
an hour.
I just mean I don't want to. It's how you start rationalizing, convincing yourself that like you come up with a price and you say, you know what, I could probably tweak this up a little bit, or it could make sense I could justify this, and you start creeping it up a little bit. I think I'm gonna take the advice from Jamie is, his advice is, what is the price that you'd be comfortable charging where you'd feel amazing about delivering it for this price?
Yep. And
that's the price. And what I feel amazing about today might be different than what I'm going to feel amazing about a year from now. But it's now. It's not a year from now, so it's an easy answer. So yeah, so I feel good about all that stuff. It was a quite an interesting weekend.
it certainly sounds like it. Wow. So we'll have to. I'm going to be finishing up my content probably by today, and I'm going to be ready. So my course is going to be ready. I just checked out. A lot of people have not been opening my emails of all of the people who lined up. So I'll need to create reminders, because a week from today, everyone's already going to be admitted.
Yeah.
It's only 65, is it? How many people do I have? Yeah, so Facebook ads on this topic, 53 people I have in terms of content.
That's good. So that's up from like 30 something last week, Now
46 last week.
46.
So it wasn't a big weekend, but I was changing my ads up, so it's essentially started running a new campaign on Saturday. So which means it's not fully effective. Cost per lead is very high. It's like around $8.50, which is tremendously high.
Yeah.
It should be in the ballpark of 1.5 to 2.5.
Yeah.
It must be my niche or something.
Yeah.
So
it's probably early to tell too, because I mean, cost per lead is one thing. Really, what you want to figure out at some point is your cost per conversion. So,
that's definitely true. I mean, I have a lot of cold leads, and the cold leads will not convert as well.
Yeah.
So I want to take you through some of the plan for next week. Obviously, I'm going to give you access to the content. I haven't published anything because everyone gets access to the content as they go through the process.
Okay.
And that means, what does that mean? What I'm thinking is I'll be more prescriptive in terms of what I actually wanted, and what I do want right now. What I'm thinking right now is there'll have to be maybe a 30-minute commitment in the morning and in the evening.
Yeah.
To just go into the Facebook group and see what people have posted, and just respond, or if there's no response to be given, just to be acknowledging of people typing in
thanks for the feedback.
I'm thinking not only liking, but actually providing like great or just one word answers, just so people feel engagement.
Yeah.
And I'm going to think through right now as to how to make sure that all of the people, because the email is where they'll get access to the course, and they need access to the course first. So I'm gonna send out another email right now. How many emails? Oh, anyway, I'll figure it out once I get off the call. I'll figure out how many emails have gone out, and what is happening with the open rates. Because there's one thing that can be happening is that people register for the Facebook accounts with one type of email.
Yeah.
And then they never check that email. I know that happened to Natalie because her email is the one, like, it's junk email that she uses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone was.
So I guess you can post notifications though too in your Facebook group,
yes,
like to get people to check their email.
Yeah.
The one thing I keep seeing in the Kajabi group is a concerted effort to get people to reply to your emails.
Mm-hmm.
So like they would do something like a notification to their group saying everyone check their email and replies, just so that we know that you're getting it, because it's as soon as you start creating all the email algorithms see a two-way communication, and it exponentially improves your pass rate.
That's a great idea, and I actually know how to get people to do that. Oh, this is fantastic.
I sent an email to one of my people that signed up for my free webinar, offering them my course for free on Saturday morning, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So we'll see how that goes over.
A lot of things to try. There are many things to try, and this is. So how are you sustaining yourself? Oh yeah, your wife work. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and I'm down to my last $9,000 in my bank account. So soon, now I just renewed my mortgage and I have a big home equity line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I'm going to be sustaining myself and EI. But I mean, EI is like, it's something, but you can't live on EI. I mean, not with.
You can't even pay your mortgage with it.
No.
I can.
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny because another idea I had, like I was thinking all weekend about like, what, I need to hire somebody because there's so many things that I want to get to that I'm not getting to, and I'm like, well, I can't hire somebody. How am I going to pay for it? I'm like thinking to myself, like, you know what? Like we just got our mortgage renewed. The house, so I live on a crescent, and diagonally across from us is the identical house to ours. It just went on the market for $1.2 million. We just renewed our mortgage. I think I owe like $290 or something. So I've got, call it $900,000 in equity. And I don't know. Like, this is one of those things. It's like your conventional thinking is like, I can't like carve into that. But then my other thinking is like, why not? Like, that's, it's not liquid yet, but like I have access to some of it. Why can't I use that? Like, why wouldn't I invest in my business? Now, I mean, my wife would kill me if I pissed away hundreds of thousands of dollars, obviously. But like it's got me to this place too where I'm comfortable giving this a legitimate runway, right? So, that's how I'm planning to sustain myself. And the deeper I get in my course, the more aligned I am and the more sure I am and confident I am that when you're doing what you're meant to do, it'll all take care of itself. Like more than any other thing I've done in my life, work-wise, this is the most aligned I feel with who I am and what I am and what I want to do. Like it's, I don't know. Like I don't know. It's like
I hear you, man.
I just know it. Like this, and I look at job postings and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want that job. What would I do in that job?
And I've been going through some job posting units. In a way, we talked about this. There's comfort in a check coming in every 2 weeks. There's comfort knowing that, for example, your dental benefits are available to you if you need them. And in my case, it's just it's also a knee-jerk reaction to. Well, it's smart to look for a job because neither my wife or I work.
Yeah.
So it's a pristine zero. So you're drawing down on any sort of assets that you've built. But yeah, some jobs. I'm actually going to be talking at 9:45. I'm having a catch up with my old boss from RVC Ventures, Chris, and he left Ventures and he's now doing something with small business companies. And my ask for him is, how do you get in touch with, like, how do you find the small business community and find out how they operate? And if there's something, because I would love to be able to be a consultant to them or work for equity.
Yeah.
But in the environment when you actually have some meaningful responsibility, so you're not given a job, which is a box.
Yeah.
You're given a question.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, and I've thought of that. Like, could I go find a lesser job, like not a director or whatever, but like a manager job or something that I could do in like 25 hours a week, what most people would take 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then, just so you have the benefits and you have the regular income, even though it's not a lot, but it would be something. I mean, the challenge is finding an employer that would agree to that. Although, there's probably never been a better time to do something like that in terms of remote work and flexible work hours and things. If you can
Actually, an interesting idea.
Find a gig.
You will have to recraft your resume probably.
Yeah.
With like stripping the titles all the way to the end and more achievements in the front.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It's interesting. There's a mat leave job at Loblaw now, senior director of insights and culture or something. I don't know.
I've looked into that.
Yeah.
Do you know the person, the VP?
No, I don't think so.
I pinged Katie, who works at Loblaw. She's like, yeah. I think I'm blacklisted as well.
Yeah.
Loblaw, because anything that I've applied for, I've never heard back. Even though I would probably be like you, or I would probably be an excellent fit for the role.
Yeah.
Both knowing the internal dynamics, external dynamics, the customer, the loyalty programs.
Yeah. Well, I think I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, the other idea I had, and I probably won't start it this week, but maybe next week, is I think 3 days a week I'm going to do Facebook Live, like 30-minute sessions. So Tuesday, when I do my sell your home post in the evening, I'm going to do a 30-minute live thing talking about whatever I've posted and take questions. And, if nobody comes on, that's fine. It's just more content I can record and use. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to do Interview Simulator. And then on Friday, I'm going to do management coaching. And it's the, know you, trust you, like you scenario, right? Like, I think, who the fuck am I? Why would people give me money and buy my stuff? Yeah. So, you just got to get out there. And I've realized too with Jamie, like I've had this notion that, well, I need to have exclusive content or different content or whatever. He has a very, I don't want to say limited range, but he has his content and he just talks about it. So you hear the same thing multiple times or in different formats or different venues, but it's all it's the same stuff. Like, you don't need to worry about crossover or overlap or repetition because your audience is always changing as well. So again, like, don't get out of your own head about what you need. You already have what you need. Just go do it.
Exactly. That's an interesting. I would be curious to see how that what your experience with that might be, because I've been head down. I paused. Like, I don't even know what's going on with my social media. Luckily, it's happening in the background. Yeah. Because I've been trying to just prep myself up for this course.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about this? How about we connect tomorrow? I'll walk you through some of the stuff. I can even do it on the call if you want to.
Sure. Are we connecting at 11 still?
Huh?
11 today?
Yeah, 11. We connect for the
filling the experience gap.
Yeah. So what exactly do you want me to talk about? Do you want me to do the entrepreneurship, or do you want me to do the data analytics stuff?
Yeah, I think you should do your what you're doing currently, because then it's more relevant and it gives you content. And again, this is another vehicle for you to get people to know you, like you, and trust you.
Yeah. Do you want me to juxtapose some of those things? You know what? I'll just do it. You edit it the way you want.
Yeah. My role in this is very limited. I just ask a few questions. You do all the talking, so it's the opposite of today's phone call.
Well, today's phone call is completely out of the ordinary. You finally get to hear Greg talk, and he, as you can see, he's a very smart gentleman.
Yeah, thank you. I just hope I recorded the audio properly.
Indeed. Okay.
All right, I'll see you at 11.
We'll go to...
All right. Sounds good, man.
See you tomorrow.
See you at 11. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, bye.